we can keep it short and homey this time. You all know where the link to the retrospective is. So if you don't, I will just share it here. Moment. There you go. So the link is in the chat, just in case someone doesn't have it. I don't know, that's later if you're familiar with Retrospective. Do you? I will say what?
I will not.
Okay, so it's very simple. We put a timer, and you go to the board that I just shared the link on the chat of this conversation. And the idea would be that everyone will go through three parts. One went well is the first one, so you will see a little bit of stick notes, and we can just write whatever you think, whatever you want. It's open. It's open, and it's not like censored or anything. So I will put a timer for about 5 minutes, maybe less, but let's try for 4 to 5 minutes. The timer on one went well, and you just type whatever you think went well this last 2 weeks, meaning the sprint period of time.
Okay.
And if you have any question, then let me know. But the idea would be that the format is very simple. We go through these three parts, and after every part, we'll do a recap, and we will each other comment on what are your feelings and impressions about what you wrote or what everyone else wrote.
Okay. Just let me open the link.
No problem. So let's jump into that. I will put the timer for 4 minutes. And if Juanca, if you want to add music, feel free to do so.
Okay.
Hello, Nate. We are currently silently working. We have 3 minutes left for what went well, so feel free to jump into it.
Sounds good, thank you.
Hello, Durgaras. We are working on the link, the usual retrospective board. The link is on the chat at your right, and feel free to jump into the board and write what went well this sprint for you.
Okay. Not the best at retrospective, so I think I'll bow out. Thank you.
Thank you, Durgaras. Take care. Have a nice day.
What went well this spring?
This is sprint. These past 2 weeks, like in TEC, we have sprints every 2 weeks. This is a period of time where we sort of learn and adapt and sort of improve. So, yeah.
Okay.
1 minute left. Time is up. Nate, since you are the radio voice of the TC, would you like to read what everyone has written?
Yes. I'm gonna have to read it off your screen. I'm still loading the Miro. So
Okay, there you go.
Lots of cohesion on the Sampo team. Great new contributors on Sampo team. New to TEC. Nate making great progress on treasury proposal and strategy. Distilling the plans for TE request service very quickly. New challenges the comms stewardship while Chewy is taking days off. A lot of TE reunions in real life. A lot of new comms contributors. Graviton training coming in to an end in 1 week. Around 30 people participating constantly. A lot of in real life presence at conferences and events. Good progress in defining token holder channel and token gating. Saw someone with a TEC swag in Paris. Communitas went on pause for this week meeting, but it was nice to have a break. It's good to see how the conferences are aligned with us. Acid Laser present. Market getting better, fundamentals going good. Met Mertz in real life. Mono events in Spanish. Gravity may continue offering services to Aragon for August and November. DevCon coming. Chewy taking time, Acid Laser rocking it, smooth transition and great leadership. And thinking on Gravity Season 2 proposal. Or S2
Thank you.
proposal.
Do you have any? I will pass it on to Gideon for any comment that you Gideon, and then I'll give you time to think. Nate.
My mic is on. I don't know. I don't have any. It's funny. Like it feels like there's pockets where there's a lot going on, and then also it feels kind of like a ghost town. Some of like Discord just feels very empty right now. But it's been nice. I feel like I'm having a taste of what it's like to not have so many meetings. And so a lot of progress to be made. Yeah. Do you want me to pass it on?
Yes, please.
Ask the laser.
Yes, I agree with Gideon. It feels like when you're at school and everybody passed the class, but you're the only people left, and you need to pass the exam while nobody's here. But it was great, like chill and royal peace. But I miss all the TC normal activity. But it's good, and it feels good to enter to new cults while she's not here, and I think that I'm going to stay in the cults when Chewy's come back. And I'll pass it to Juanca.
Thank you, Sid Laser. Yeah, for me it's actually like at least some weeks of less work, and that is for me amazing because I was really like charged for a lot of things. So I found it really good for me to recharge energies, and I am looking with good eyes the decisions that we are taking in Gravity, and I am happy that I will also have more support from a team And yeah, I've been looking to decentralize gravity for some time and to unload myself, and I think we're going into that direction. And I'll pass it to Nate.
Yeah, I think that I think we did really good this past 2 weeks. I think it's hard adjusting to a different pace. I kind of relate to Ask the Laser said about feeling like summer school type of deal. Like you're just kind of there's like 15 people that you know of, and they're all doing some good work. But it's also like we don't have the meetings, and so I do feel a little bit more productive than I typically would, having to keep up with everything. So yeah, I think that's really good, and I'll pass it over to Edu.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, I think last year was very similar. For those who were here, you there was this very similar sentiment of this slower process, and I think eventually it will become part of our rhythm. We will acknowledge that during this time of the year, people get slow. The same goes for Christmas, and we can find our own work rhythm and not feel the pressure during these times if no one shows up in a call, and that it's fine. It's it's part of the process, I believe. All right. So we now move to what could do better. Same 4 minutes, everyone, and I will start the countdown now, and we can all type. What could do better? As a laser, in case you it's confusing. It's basically things that you think were not done properly, things that you think we could improve. Um, yeah, whatever you have in mind can be shared there. 30 seconds left. I think most of us have stopped writing. Oh no, there's still. So 30 seconds left. Time's up. Gideon, would you like to read for us?
Sure. Let's see. So, feeling like there may be some burnout and not sure how best to deal with that. Not having tough conversations about economic future. Recognize it, communicate it, ask for support, take some time taking care of your mental health. Oh, that's related to the burnout. Thinking more like a commons, less like an organization. Rest when it's time to rest, run when it's time to run. Sometimes we need more retweets in our Twitter. Learn how to delegate tasks. Don't carry everything on your shoulders. More awareness about who is absent, who isn't. Work in decentralizing the meeting's ownership. More engagement for new contributors. Join more calls, be more active, etc. Leave always someone on call from the stewards when possible. Hard to bring new ideas on this period of time. Do we know what will happen when token freeze unlocks in a month? Delegation and organization of tasks. Talk more about horizons and different lengths of individual commitment. Not enough women.
Thank you, Gideon. Juanca, would you like to start and comment on any that you have read or written?
Yeah. Well, I think I was feeling a little bit of burnout some weeks ago. So whoever wrote the burnout note, I am telling you, take some time, do IRL, in real life things. Not everything is work, and the impact that you do is better when you do it while you are good. And all of our work is directly related with our mental health. So taking care of the mental health is the most important thing, and communicating that you're loaded, it's not bad. So please ask for support. And very interesting, the one who wrote like what will happen when the token freeze opens. Yeah, I will pass it to Gideon.
Thanks, Juan. I'm the one who wrote the thing about burnout, and I felt it a little bit over this last week. It's actually not that bad for me. I'm feeling pretty psyched, pretty engaged personally, but it does feel a little bit like there's some burnout, and yeah, it feels like in general we may be having this issue of kind of like attention floating elsewhere. People kind of engaged in lots of different projects and things like that. Also outside of the TEC. So it does. I haven't been here long enough to be able to compare it to like how things have been in the past, but it does feel a little bit like there's some dissipating of energy. That's the vibe I'm getting right now. And let's see. On the token freeze. Actually, I was talking to Griff about this last week, and actually, it's starting in just like a couple weeks, I think. And it may have even started already. And what he was saying is that it's actually just like a daily drip. So it's going to be a slow process. It's not going to be like, all of a sudden 1/4 of tokens unlock. He says it's just like a daily increment. But over time, that'll add up. Okay, I will pass it to Nate.
Yeah, I think that's burnout's a real thing, and I think that we really don't know how to handle it, because even if you start to feel the beginnings of it, you can ignore it and it will have a consequence of some type. So understanding that a little bit better in our members is really important, in my opinion. Learning how to delegate to new individuals, I think, is really important. I think it's something that we don't do well as a group. I feel like when we do have initiatives, people take it on themselves, and they take it fully on themselves, and it's hard to learn how to delegate. And so maybe we can improve in that area in terms of just learning how to incorporate other people into the work that we are doing. And yeah, I mean, we're just in that kind of lull period, so I think that we just really gotta focus on what we're good at doing it, and what is easy to do, and just keep the course until we weather this summer and we get more people engaged. So that's my thoughts on it, and I'll pass it to Acid Laser.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, I feel too that the burnout stuff is real. I passed that some months ago, and I took like maybe 2 or 3 weeks free, and I feel and that feel very good. I feel more like problems in real life affect more. Well, in my place, problems in real life affect me more than a lot of work to do. And also, I put the more engagement for new contributors, but because especially in comms, and I guess in every working group, the newcomers and the new people here always are waiting for you to tell you which task to do and which things to do. And I remember when I start at TC that I was asking to Septi, and Septi told me that the advice to just do that I think that it's necessary to do, the necessities that I find, join the calls, be more active at Discord, and that's true. And I think that we need to I don't know, make some changes in that, because the newcomers are that have that culture, but that's why we're in counts. We're doing like a delegation rotation, starting with that Chu is taking vacations and I'm taking the stewardship, and I'm making a little changes about that, and that's it. I don't know who's left. Maybe Edu.
Thank you. I have a question, Gideon. Just to circle back to what you said. So you mean it will be a slow drip from the total supply, or will be a slow drip for everyone? Like individually, there will be a slow drip, or it will be Mitch joined just in time. Because Mitch mentioned the same thing, but I don't know if it's a general total supply or it's just individually slow dripping. You know what I mean?
It's all the people who participated in the hatch and have their tokens locked. I mean, I'm just repeating what Griff said. Actually, Mitch, you probably have. So, Mitch, we were just talking about from the token freeze as the tokens unlock gradually over time, like what that looks like. And what Griff mentioned to me is that it's just like a small increment that's happening every day.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
it's a linear unlocking schedule.
But it will be unlocked, like you will have, for example, 5,000 DC, 100 DC per day for everyone, or it will be like in general, in total supply, we will only be able to like unlock 100 per day. You know what I mean?
Well, it'll be a percent based on like how many TEC tokens you have, right?
Okay, so it's individually
If
counted, not collectively counted. Okay.
If you, Eduardo, have 100 TEC tokens that are vested, then and the vesting schedule is 100 days, then every day you will have one TEC token.
There you go.
That's
So
like
that's
a really
really smart.
basic way.
That's really smart. And at this, I mean, I know you guys have known this for a long time, but that's keep my mind. But I think that what could be really interesting is for us to provide like options, maybe of what to do with this amount. It could be meme wise, like, oh, you unlock this percentage per day, maybe it's one TC token that allows you to do, I don't know, whatever. So it could be nice to have some sort of, maybe this is more towards laser, but some sort of awareness or campaign, or maybe not, I don't know, but like to have some awareness regarding this stuff. Anyways, before I move on, we are on that part, Mitch, where we talk about what could be improved. Do you have anything on top of your head that you would like to share about the last sprint, and anything that you feel that should be improved?
Yeah, the quant review call.
Okay, do you want to provide context?
Yeah, just participation's low, and I have been trying to change the format to make it more data science oriented, but I frankly don't have the bandwidth for at least the next month and a half. So it could be done better. I just don't have the time right now.
Do you want to still do it, or will you want to change the timing, like to be bi-weekly, or what is your?
Well, it should be done. It's already done bi-weekly because it's done after
Okay.
every
Yeah, of course.
round. So
Alright.
it should be there because it's an important thing to do for transparency. But yeah, it needs to be more engaging, and it needs lots of work and probably some partnerships. But yeah, realistically, I won't be able to do it until like September.
Okay. Okay. Can you open an issue for that on SendHub to just label it like something along those lines of let's find or let's fix or let's find an alternative for the quant call, so we can think about it tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Mitch. All right. Besides that, the other things that were commented regarding the burnout and so on, I think it's something that feels really personal, but at the same time, it's a collective. It's a collective situation, and no one knows how to handle burnouts, and an organization have in place a right way to approach it. So it's what Juanca said. It's like you have to recognize it, communicate it, and sort of be a little bit verbal about it, at least with someone who close you work with, or whoever you feel comfortable talking about it. And if it helps, if it doesn't, ask for time off and see how it evolves for you. All right, I think the something that could be useful for the Twitter part that was mentioned here, it's to just also maybe when there's an important tweet, like you often do as a lasers, to just tag people. Maybe use the Stuart's tag or the Hatcher's tag. I don't know, some form of of visibility, so everyone is aware when something relevant happens. But it's hard, so I hear you. All right, so we will move to the last part, which is actions to improve. Again, 4 minutes. So basically, this part, it's about sharing any idea that you think could be helpful to improve any of the things that we have mentioned, or different things that were not mentioned. Feel free to start writing. 4 minutes, and start the countdown now. Time's up. All right. Um, Nate, would you like to read again?
Sure. Reach out to TEA, Labs, and LTF to reformat quant review call. Ways to find money outside TEC, merge NFTs, open our services as Gravity DAO. We need more token engineers. Announce a summer break. We should have things in place by the time TE fundamentals launch +1. Still need to develop a TEC roadmap. Get more clarity from CS on their future plans for stewardship, development, and working groups. For Twitter, start building an ambassador network, defining our stakeholders more clearly, more debate around stewarding roles, finding ways to reach out to token engineers, defining obligations that come with TEC funding, not to improve but have in mind TEA event on the 27th, comms around the new token thaw.
All right, Gideon, any thought? And before Gideon starts, you can start picking one of the stars and just placing. You have 2 stars per person, so just pick one of the stars that is down below and choose the one that you think should be the action to improve for the next sprint. Go ahead, Gideon.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a couple things that are related, which is defining what we mean by token engineers. I actually think of it more as like token engineering professionals. They don't have to be developers. They don't have to be smart contract. They don't, smart contract developers. They don't have to be systems engineers. Like it can be anybody who is, viewing token engineering as part of their path, their calling. And I think it would be really good to build out, really try to once we've defined that, to then really start to build out networks of like ambassador. That ambassador thing was what I put in there. It's just like find the ways that we can reach these folks and support them on Twitter and help them to do their work by like retweeting their stuff and helping them to get attention for their their work. And I think it's going to be important for us to start to build out those networks, because within the next 6 months or so, we're going to start to have services that will start to emerge, and we want to have these networks in place to be able to kind of like tap those networks. And Acid Laser, actually, if you want, there are a couple tools that I've been using on Twitter. For like follower wonk and some things like that. I don't know. You probably are familiar with them, but if not, I'm happy to we can have a call afterwards if you want. I will pass to Juanca.
Thank you, Gideon. Yeah, I think that last week we had a session, a stewards meeting, where we were talking about having some like core stewards and having some more advisor stewards. Yeah, I think that debate was really interesting, and that we should like give more collective intelligence to that ideas, and try to find the right balance between centralization and decentralization. And also, yeah, I also think that we need to make a communication strategy around the token thaw. Like, when does it start? What does it mean? And there's a lot of people that maybe haven't counted like the weeks, and will be like, oh my god, it's already. So I don't know. It's like communicating to our stakeholders what's happening with that token thaw. And yeah, I will pass it to Mitch.
Yeah, I just want to add an interesting point to this token thought thing. Basically, the only thing you're communicating is that people can sell their tokens now. So maybe that's a strategic decision. Maybe it's not very much. So you might want to think about that in how much you promote it. my point there was just forever and always. I think it's super important to start thinking about the services and the ways that you can generate revenue. In the bear market, you're going to generally have to be very creative. It doesn't really print itself anymore. So yeah, I'd like to see a lot of focus on that. I think it'll be tough because many people are on vacation or at conferences or whatnot, but I think it's very important. And I'll give it to Nate.
Yeah, I think it is really tough during, especially when everybody's off, and it feels like, there's like a sense of abandonment in a lot of ways, with just the minimal Discord activity and so on. So, I think it's really important to reinforce positive energy and positive outlooks rather than focusing on negative stuff. I think the comms around the token thaw is probably not necessary at all. I think that is something that for the token holders, you understood, for the most part, you understand those who have it locked up understand how the system works. And so I don't know if a reminder is necessary. But I do think the roadmap is really, 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 really important. We've been talking about doing this for a while. I'm not sure if anybody has the capacity to carry that and champion it into the future. I think having that roadmap will help align a lot of our working groups and the initiatives that we pursue right now. And so in the short term, Sampo has a lot on the shoulders, and I think that having a roadmap can kind of help that as well. So I'll pass it over to Acid Laser.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, I also think that the roadmap is going to help a lot because Sampo these last weeks and maybe months has been more active, and they have a lot of work to do, and we need to help in some way. And I think a roadmap will help a lot. And also the comms strategy about the token out is a very good idea. And we can explain when it starts, what's going on, what's going to happen, and all this stuff. And all these things are very cool and very good ideas. Back to you, Edu.
Thank you. Hello, Septimus. Welcome. So we are currently in the last part of actions to improve. So I don't know if you have any thought about just quickly what you have said, or if you have anything to comment, anything you feel like contributing to this call before we close it up.
Yeah, actually, I just jumped in. I was just reading what went well. So yeah, I'm sorry for being so late. I was on another meeting. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I can contribute since I'm so late.
No worries. You can still do async if you feel there is something here that you want to comment on. Just do it here in the chat after this call, or whenever you feel ready to. So the actions to improve, it seems that we have a winner, which is still need to develop a TEC roadmap. I will say this is somehow, it's not necessarily implicitly related, but I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the work that you're doing, Gideon, is to, even if that's not necessarily the main goal, it will sort of draft a vision for the TEC in many aspects. Do you think this is aligned, Gideon, with what Sampo is doing, or do you think this is far from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the economic layer development is a big part of that roadmap, but and so we are laying that out, but that's just one piece, right? So like, there's going to be work that's going to be happening on community development and governance. I think this is it's a stool or a table that's gonna have several legs. I'm happy to participate very actively in that from the economic layer. I can't drive it, but just
Sure.
because I think that I think there's going to be multiple people who are going to need to be very involved in that.
So I would suggest to add it as a topic for the next council, whenever there is one, so we can sort of lay out some actions to do regarding this. In the meantime, this will be the action to improve for this sprint. I don't know if any of you have anything else to comment or to share before we close it up. 5, 4. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. This discussion around the token thaw is super interesting because I also think that we are on the last update of Goldilocks. So now the exit tribute is higher and the entry tribute is lower. So I don't know. It would be also interesting to see how does that affect the amount of our common pool with the entries from the tributes, and this that would be very interesting. So I don't know. Maybe it would be good to have further discussion around this topic, and maybe have some more experienced people talking about maybe what could happen if the common pool will grow, or more or less what are the expectations around that.
Thank you, Juanca. I wrote down a note here. Yes, Gideon, go ahead.
Just one quick thing on that one. Actually, it's YGG and Rex were thinking about doing some modeling work on that question. Like particularly, Griff was really interested in like, okay, do we have the tributes right? Let's look at some modeling to just kind of see what the right configuration is. And you're adding in this question of the token thaw. I think that would be an interesting thing to look at if they're going to do that modeling. I can follow up and just see what's happened to that if they're actually moving forward with that.
All right. Does anyone have any other comment regarding this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, folks. It was a pleasure to have you here today. So thank you so much for joining. And I look forward to see you during the next calls, the next days. Take care and have a nice Thursday.
Thanks, Edu.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Nice job.
Thanks everyone. See you later, guys.